Jennifer from A Close Heart Experience here. I hope you're all doing good. The first 3 weeks of January are not looking up, are they? And I'm sorry about the glare in my glasses. I have tried to get rid of them, but the problem is I wear glasses. There's no way to get rid of the glare. Anyhow, there's kind of a mix-up of videos I wanted to bring to your attention. I did one on Friday. I was supposed to post it Saturday, but because of the weather up here and the time of year it is for me, I had nothing but meetings and phone calls this week, and it really kind of mishmashed my week up. So, I don't know. It's called Everyone's on Edge or something like that. I don't know if I'm going to... It says in the video I was going to post it Saturday, but I might not even post that one until this next Thursday. Excuse me. But, anyhow, I just hope you understand and can kind of work with me on this. It's not... I don't know. At the very end of that video, I say I'll see you on Monday, but that's not true. We just do what we can do. In fact, today is Sunday, so I'm wearing a hoodie. We're not dressed for success. And in fact, I've got sweats on too. When I come to the office on the weekends, I am not wearing nifty, neato business clothes. Nope, not doing it. And we tame the Sasquatch hair. We just pull it back, put it in a dang bun, and we move the heck on. So, today's video is kind of an extension. That's why I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It depends on how my ramblings end up today. I'm not sure if I want this one to go Monday or Thursday. We'll figure it out. But if there's a mix-up, or if it seems like they've switched, that's why. Hey, if you're new to the channel, thank you. Please subscribe and join our family. We would love to have you. And hit that like button, everybody. Hit the reminder bell. Make a comment. Let me know what you want to hear. I'm getting ideas from friends and family and people around me about what's bothering them, and even clients. That's kind of what this video is about today. Not as in work, but I gotta slow my brain down for a second. Sometimes that's difficult to do. Hit the like, share, and subscribe. Make a comment. Now, for today's video, what I'd like to talk about is how many people do feel alone. It's kind of a tie-in to the last couple of videos I've done, and why they're feeling on edge. And it's... I don't know, guys. We joke around in the office here that I should have received I should have went for a counseling degree when I went for my accounting degree. Yeah, we're having a problem with the tongue today. Again. When you talk all week long, by the end of the week, your tongue is actually kind of tired. It does not want to translate what your brain has to say. I don't know. Anyhow, so I talked to several people this week, but there were 2 phone calls that kind of stood out to me, and I actually think one was from the week before, but I kept forgetting to mention it. And they kind of tie into what's going on, but I have had so many clients come into my office and just start crying, and this was kind of a similar situation, but it was on the phone. I hadn't even seen the lady face to face, and maybe that's what made it easier for her. I don't even pretend to know, but we were talking about her situation. She had paid some pretty hefty tax bills from selling properties and stuff, and she just started crying, and I said, "What's wrong? What's, you know?" And she said, the fight every day. Every day is a fight. It doesn't matter what she's doing, where she's going, what's happening. Every day is a fight. And she said it's the people around her. She said she's having issues with her children, her son or something. I don't know if it was a boyfriend or a husband. I don't know if I picked up on that. It might have been a boyfriend. But parents, and she was just tired of feeling alone. And I said, oh, I completely understand. I said, you don't have to explain that to me. And I said, but if you want to talk about it, I will most definitely listen, you know? And so she goes, no, you're not here to counsel me. And I said, no, but I have noticed that a lot of people are in the same boat. And I said, for instance, myself, and sometimes that's what makes people okay to talk to you. You know, they'll kind of open up a little bit when you tell them. And I had told her that I had had a knockdown, drag out fight with my husband for like 24 hours straight. And it was over stupid stuff, but it was me finally standing up for myself and asking for his help. Because I am sick and tired of everything being my responsibility and being alone. And I told her that I had a few friends in my life that, you know, everybody's got their hand out, everybody wants money. And when you don't bend over backwards for them, you're piddly squat, you know? And I said, I have people ghosting me. I have people talking behind my back right now, and they don't think I know. I said, I have been through kind of a manipulative situation, and that's another video I want to do is on manipulation. And I said, the funny part is people think you're too stupid to realize what's going on. And I told her, I said, you just need to pull back. You need to tell them in your head to F the hell off. And it has been one of the hardest things I've had to learn in the last 2 years. It is very easy for me to pick up things to do, to pick up other people's burdens, to help. I want to help people. But I don't realize until my butt's dragging on the ground that, hey, babe, you picked up too much. You need to let a few of these things go. And her and I were talking about that, and she was in kind of pretty much the same boat. She was helping her elderly parents, and this guy she had been dating, she thought it was going really good, and then all of a sudden he just quit texting her or something. I said, that seems to be common today. I said, I don't understand it. I got married before texting was a thing, and if you didn't hear from him for a while, it was okay. But when you have constant access to somebody, things can get a little weird, I think, in my own head. And I am myself trying to pull away from texting. But it's because I'm getting close to April 15th, the next 2.5 months, and I'm going to be texting people left and right anyhow. But we just kind of talked about, if people can't respect her, if people cannot bring the same things to the table that she is bringing, she just needs to walk. She doesn't need to give them an explanation. She doesn't even need to try to boost her side of the story. And I know that all people don't suck, but right now I feel like everybody is freaking selfish, including my husband, including some clients. And as I stated in the On Edge, everybody needs something, but they don't want to do their part. They don't want to put any work into it. They don't want to pay their bills. They don't want to. So when it's a one-sided shit show, no. These boots were made for walking. Seriously. And she pretty much agreed with me. And so we talked about that for a good hour. And the guy she was dating, it was kind of funny. He was kind of manipulative. I didn't want her seeing anybody else. They'd only been dating for like 6 months or something, I think she said. But if she went to Coots without him, he was getting territorial, and Coots is a local bar up here. And he would just randomly show up. He would tell her he didn't want to go with her, but then he'd show up to make sure she was with somebody else. And then just one day quit texting her. And I kind of giggled about it because I think manipulation is hilarious, because the person that's doing the manipulation believes in their tactics so much that they believe you're too stupid to figure it out. We had an employee working here once, and she was actually one of my favorites. I loved her sense of humor when she was sober. And I hired her. She was on probation, which meant she had to keep her shit together. She couldn't go and get drunk just randomly whenever she wanted to. And when she was sober, oh man, her sense of humor. And she would come in and had no bones about working. She was here early. She would stay a few minutes later. I mean, I at times felt like I was taking advantage of her because, and I wasn't asking her to work that long. She just volunteered. She just wanted to be here. And I kept telling her, I don't want to burn you out. I want to keep you. Well, then probation ended and she started drinking quite a bit. And, the lies got real thick, and she would tell me things that I knew were bogus and BS, you know. And in fact, for a while here, some of us thought she might have been living in the office and leaving before we would get here in the morning. So we had to change the locks, and it was so bad. I felt so bad for her. Anyhow, she ended up back in Bush, Alaska somewhere. And she called me one day, and she love-bombed me, if you can call it that. She was telling me how I was the greatest boss ever and the greatest friend and blah, blah, blah. And she was so thankful that she had met me. And I knew she needed something. I was like, how much? Oh, it's so sad that I've become that way, but I've kind of learned that when people are overly affectionate or overly nice, there's usually a punchline with a $sign on it attached, you know? Anyhow, I was right. She needed a plane ticket out of the bush back to Anchorage, and she gave me a sob story that she was gonna lose her kids, and everybody else in the office kept telling me, you know, she's manipulating you. Duh. I'm not dumb. I wasn't born in a barn. Well, kind of close. But I wasn't born yesterday. And I said, sometimes you just have to help people just to help people. Doesn't matter what they say to you, how they go across it. They have to pay for their own sins. And I learned that from a lady at Bible study. I wish I could share her name. I miss her so much. She was such a kick in the pants, because I was always told, do not give money to homeless because they'll go and buy alcohol with it. And she told me one day, she says, what they do with that money is their problem. I took the initiative to help them, to get them a warm meal, to get them a pair of gloves or something that they were begging for. She said, but if they choose to take that money and spend it on alcohol, that's on them. And she is completely right. Spot on. I would, I think I've said this in another video. We had a homeless friend, Gary, that we would always stop and, you know, bring like a Wendy's or a Burger King or something meal to him and his girlfriend. And he has since died. Living on the streets in Anchorage it's just too cold. But he would, every time we stopped, he wouldn't remember us because he'd get too drunk. But when he was sober, he would remember us. And one day we stopped and he's like, I need to get a hotel room for my lady. And so I gave him $35 just towards the hotel room, I said, why don't you go and get a warm meal? They went and bought alcohol. I watched them. They walked right to the liquor store. And I knew that's what was going to happen. But my intention was to get some food in their belly. And you can't control what others do. And that was kind of what this lady and I were talking about. Your responsibility is you. Your responsibility is not other people. It is not to pull them out of their own hole. It is not to pull them out of their own grief. If you want to hold their hand and help them up, that's a different story. That's what I would say I like to attempt to do, but not everything's perfect. And if people are going to use you, they're going to use you. You can't stop that. Well, I suppose you could. You could just not help anybody. Stay in your little hermiting closet and pretend that the world is a beautiful place when it is not. It's a miserable shithole. I'm sorry. But the way we treat other people and the way some people live, the way we treat our vets, the way we treat single parents, it's a shame. It's just a shame. I don't see any reason why anybody on this planet should go hungry. And someday that is going to be my mission in life. I think it's totally asinine that people go hungry, especially in the United States, the richest country in the damn world. We have children going hungry. There is no excuse for that. We need to fix it. Okay, that was my rant for today. I don't want elderly or children going hungry. If you're a grown-ass adult and can't feed yourself, you probably need to look within. But children and elderly, no. No, no, no. But anyhow, I told her that was my hardest lesson this last year. That I do have a tendency to overgive, especially if my heart is just wrapped up in somebody. I feel like maybe God put me there for a reason to help them. But there does come a point where you have to back up and let them pull their own bootstraps up. You cannot continue to carry their burdens on your shoulder, because 90% of the time they're not going to learn until they do it themselves. If people keep repeating the same patterns over and over, that's a form of insanity. And I know that I'm an overgiver, and the one thing that kind of hit me is that my butt was dragging on the ground. I had nothing left after 2024. The end of November, I was toast. I had no energy. I wasn't sleeping. I was stressed because I couldn't get this or that done. I had several people needing help over here, over there, over there. That's when I decided no more. No more. If you can't bring... And this isn't a selfish... It is self-preservation. You should not have to kill yourself for others. And if people can't give you the same compassion that you are giving them, I'm sorry. And if that's just a 5-minute conversation, I'm sorry. And if he's ghosting her, not texting her back, I'm sorry. Walk. He obviously is one, trying to manipulate you, getting you to beg him to stay in your life. No. Or two, just doesn't give a rat's shit. And I would go with the second one. Because anybody who has any kind of feelings for anybody on this planet will not let that person slide away if it is truly, truly meant to be. Which leads me to my final story. Oh, we're at 19 minutes already. I'll try to make this quick. It's just a little bit of hope. It's a nice little cutesy little story from this lady, another lady I talked to. And she was recommended, or I was recommended to her by one of our other clients. And, oh man, I want this lady to be my BFF. She was so sweet, so kind. She's from Poland. And she was telling me about what they needed and blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, how'd you get to the United States? And this was after about 15, 20 minutes of talking. I realized I couldn't help her. So I had given her the name and number of somebody else to go talk to. And I told her, I said, I'm sorry, but I'm just curious. What brought you to the United States? She said the love of her life. And I started giggling. And I said, I'm sorry. I'm a little cynical when it comes to the knight in shining armor. And she didn't quite understand what I was talking about. And I said, soulmates. I said, I'm a little cynical. And she goes, oh, no, Jennifer. She says, I knew the minute I met him. And I said, yeah. I said, I've had that feeling once, maybe twice. I don't know. And I said, what? Can you explain to me what that feeling was? And she said, calm. She said she didn't feel like she had to do anything. Like, had to prove herself, had to do anything, And then she said, communication. I'm like, I've done videos kind of on both of these topics. And I was explaining to her, you know, that I have this channel, blah, blah, blah. And I asked her if she would mind me sharing this story, and she said, absolutely not. And I said, but that's a little frightening to meet somebody. I said, is he from Poland or is he from the United States? And she said the U.S. And I said, how were you for sure? I mean, that would terrify the hell out of me to pick up, leave my home country to go with some stranger to another country across the pond, as they say. That's not like you can get in a car and drive home, you know, folks. Mom, come get me, I'm stranded, kind of a thing. No, you gotta get on a big old jet airliner and fly for a day and a half to get back. And so I was kind of, and she said, I just knew. And she said they didn't go immediately, and they were apart for a little bit, and because he had to go back to the U.S. And I said, well, please elaborate on the communication a little bit more. And she said, well, she wasn't very good with English, and he wasn't very good with her language. She told me what she spoke, and to be honest, I don't know if it was German or Polish. I'm drawing a blank, so we're just gonna say her language. Anyhow, he didn't speak very much of it. So to practice, they would lay in bed each night and just talk to each other. And he would talk to her in her language, and she would talk to him in English. And that's how they both became more comfortable. And I said, how long have you been together, if you don't mind me asking? She goes, 5 years. She says, we have 3 kids. Well, good for you. And you're still calling him your knight in shining armor? And she just kind of giggled and laughed at me. And she said, I will never speak badly of this man. She's 52 years old. And she thought she would never meet the love of her life. And she said there isn't a day that goes by that he doesn't make her feel like she is just one in a million. And I said, well, if you don't want to be hated by a bunch of American women, I wouldn't tell your story to too many people. She knew I was joking. She says, actually, everybody loves my story. I said, I can see why. I said, it sounds a little bit like The Notebook. You need to watch that movie. And she says, everybody tells me that. And I said, yeah, in the hearts of most of us sad, depressed women, we all hope that we will each find a love that strong. And I said, I am so happy you have found that. And she actually, because we talked for so long about it, she was like, I'll stop by. We'll get lunch someday after April 15th, you know. But we'll see if she does. I sweet lady. I would, you know, like to continue that friendship. Anyhow, I just want you to know there's hope out there. There are good people. There is true love. There is a lot of shit on people's shoulders right now, and I get that. But if all of us are depressed, if all of us are walking around cantankerous, on edge, like the other video I'm about to post, what good does that do? Doesn't that just foster more anger, more Yeah. And the last thing, you know, not the last thing, but if we're all hopeful for a better day, it gives us something to look forward to. I look at properties probably once a day, dreaming about my dream home someday. And you know what? If it brings me 5 minutes of happiness, so be it. So be it. Find your happy. I know that I'm not going to drop a hot dollar on any of these properties right yet until I figure out what I'm doing with my life. But just to dream and to think, oh, we'll put the pigs over there, the cows over there. Don't let yourself wallow in the same, oh, I want to say the F word really bad. Same ball of, yeah. Day in and day out. If people are zapping your energy, stealing your soul out of your body, freaking walk. You don't have to explain your side. You don't have to stand up for yourself. It doesn't matter. If they care, they'll still be there. If they don't, c'est la vie. You didn't need that problem to begin with. Yeah. It's the bitter truth that I'm having a hard time swallowing. I want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to get along. But the truth of the matter is some people are just difficult assholes. And all they want to do is get what they can and go. And I'm really sorry that lady had to go through that. She was devastated. I don't know. But, you know, we've all had heartbreak. But this is a different kind of shitstorm. The rest of the stuff she was talking about, and it is a lot. So take time for yourself. Take time for yourself. Walk away from everybody who has their hands out. If people aren't bringing the same dish to the party that you are, it's okay, guys. It's okay, I promise. And you'll feel so much better. You will feel 100% better. Especially when you know where you stand. Her and I kind of talked about that a little bit. Not knowing where you stand with someone is almost worse than knowing that you're hated. No joke. No joke. Some of the people that I have stopped speaking to in the last 5 years, knowing that they hate me, I'm okay with it. I am completely okay with it. Their version of the story in their head is, I can't change that. You can't change what somebody thinks of you. So why don't you work on you and forget about that piece of mess? I promise you'll be happier. I have been. You gotta choose happy. Choose happy. And when things get rough, like with my husband, I've said in other videos, I don't like arguments anyhow. And I have a tendency, I'm a bottler. I let things bottle up inside of me. And this was one of those moments where I have been babying him for 5 years. Don't do this, don't do that, don't. And it had all just kind of hit me. He was complaining about one thing, and I said, what the fuck do you have to complain about? You have nothing to complain about. You are basically on full-time retirement, sitting here eating, living like a Roman god. Get off your ass and freaking help me. Yeah. It wasn't kind. It wasn't kind at all. But after 6 years, it's been longer than that. I've always been the one that cleaned the house, and I was done. I can't do it all. And if you're home just playing games all damn day on your phone, you can take an hour to go through a pile and toss shit. But my problem is I never ask for help. That's changing too. Yep. There is no point in killing yourself. for other people. Okay. I'm going to shut up now. I could probably talk about this subject forever because I have been reading a lot on, I hate the term self-love. That sounds so selfish. But it is really self-preservation. You don't realize how much people use and abuse you until you turn around and take a good hard look at it. And then you start questioning everything. Did they truly love me? Were they really my friend? You probably don't want the answer to that. So when it starts, end it. You're worth it. You are so worth it. So plan that trip to Ireland. We're going. Alright, I love y'all. I'm shutting up now. Like, share, subscribe. Get outside. Hug a tree. Spend time by yourself. Enjoy it. We only get one trip. Make it worth it. Love ya. Bye.